Welcome back to part two of Road to Success with my co-host Andrew and Micah joining us today.
It's great to be here.
Yeah, so last episode we touched on a lot of what brought Micah here, what drives him, and now we're gonna dive deep into financial literacy, investing, everything that helps us achieve the goal to be able to help others because we can't help others if we don't help ourselves.
Yeah, what we talked about and what you've learned.
Yeah.
100%. So, first thing is to take care of yourself. Make sure that you are healthy. Make sure that you're, before you're helping others, make sure that you are not living in hypocrisy, doing what you're preaching. It really, I would say that the way the Creator designed the world, He created numbers to turn chaos into order.
Some
So,
structure to it.
Some structure, some things basic things you can understand. If you can count to 10, you can understand this stuff, right? If you can add, you can understand this stuff. Well, what is that stuff? Stuff basically is, what you make and what you spend. And what you make's got to be more than what you spend.
Yep.
It really is that simple.
Right.
What you do with the excess is a different story. But if we are spending more than we make, it's literally impossible. The math will never work that way.
Right.
You'll never get out of that hole.
Don't let me
Yeah.
go into the politics, but the U.S. government's $32 trillion in debt. It's never going away because we don't ever spend less than we make. So that's just don't be the U.S. government and don't rely on Social Security to put you in retirement because it's a broken system.
Yeah.
How is a broken system that's going backwards going to feed you one day?
Yep.
So when we talk about financial freedom, I'm not talking about wealth. I'm not talking about boats and cars. I'm talking about the ability to use the time God gave you the way it's supposed to be used. Right? We're in a season now where we have to work. We have to take care of our kids, pay our
Yeah.
mortgages, pay our cars, right?
And just to interject real quick, I feel like there's just a huge misunderstanding out there, and people are like, "Oh, everybody in America wants to be rich." No, not necessarily. I don't need $1 billion. Financial freedom is the goal. So not having to worry about those things, being able to dedicate your time to things you enjoy, things that you're passionate about, rather than work and grind and pay bills.
That's right.
Yep.
Financial freedom means different things to different people. My favorite thing to sit down with a client, and I don't do this much anymore because I'm so heavy into real estate where I love it, right? But if anyone comes to me and says, "Can you help me?" I want to help them. It's just my God-given ability, desire to help. If they want to be helped, if they don't, please get away from me because I don't want to waste my time with you. You don't want to be helped. But when they come to me, I just say, "What do you want?" We've all been given desire for something. Tell me what you want. And if you say, "I just want more freedom more with my time," you don't have to get rich.
Right.
Yep.
But you do have to have a discipline to spend less than you make. It's that simple. Or not buy that car because it's not that valuable to you.
Yeah.
You don't really need an $800 payment. You don't want it.
Yep.
What you're telling me what you want doesn't match up with what you're doing. So it's behavioral change.
Yep.
Dave Ramsey, he's a mentor of mine. He says 80% of it is behavior.
Yep.
Only 20% is knowledge. So when you get the knowledge and you don't behave with it, that's on you.
Absolutely.
That's on you. It's nothing, and so you want to help people who want to be helped. Spend more than you make. If you know what that is, have the discipline to look at your bank statements and figure that out. And then find out where you can cut.
Yep.
If you can't cut, because some people can't spend less,
right.
Because they're already at rock bottom. The question then becomes, how can I make more? Right? So biblical principle, the Lord always supplies all of our needs. That's what the Bible says.
Yep.
It doesn't say he'll provide all of our wants.
Right.
That's my takeaway, right? He'll provide all of our needs. He says, "I feed the birds every day. They don't have a job. They don't have a 401k. They don't have a retirement account, but they eat
Yeah.
because I love them. How much more do I love you?" So that takes faith to believe in this stress of life when your income is low or whatever's happening, that God's going to provide your needs. I can just tell you that I've been down that road a million times because it's one of my financial struggles. So one of my struggles in life, it's one of my sins. One of the things that separates me from God is my lack of faith, and that I can't keep it consistently comfortable, right? But He always promises me, "I'll provide your needs. I'll provide your needs. Trust me with all your heart. And don't lean on your own logic, but all your ways acknowledge me. I will direct your steps. I will provide your needs." Have you ever heard of anyone say, I trusted God with all my heart and he screwed me over?
Nope.
Never heard it. Right? So, well, my point is, this is not to sound religious. This is to sound real, genuine, and true. That in your scarcity, know that there's a God who's a God of abundance.
Mm-hmm.
And he loves you, and he's going to provide all your needs.
Yep.
Now, the bonus, the extra, the excess is a blessing. And he who manages it well will be given more to manage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how we manage, for us, it's our talents and our money, right?
Mm-hmm.
For how we manage it will be judged. I'm not talking about heaven and hell. I'm talking about you will find out if you're managing his resources well because you'll be given more to manage.
Mm-hmm.
If he can get it through you, he'll get it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
And I think that goes on, like, like you're saying, whether anybody that's providing you everything you need, the tools to make it work and get it done, it's not going to be with blueprints attached.
Yep.
You're going to have to go out and figure out what to do with those resources, how to make it. That's kind of your job in all this.
Yeah.
Whether it be an employer, an opportunity, inheritance, anything. You have those resources in life. You need to figure out how to best play them, because life doesn't come with an instruction manual.
Mm-hmm.
that's well said. And that's why there are financial advisor kind of people. But you just hope to get with someone who's in for it, is into it for themselves, but equal to you.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll go back. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be religious, I promise.
No,
But I
no,
go
it's
back
all
to what
good.
I find
Yeah,
to be true,
principles.
right? To find to be true, I find the Bible to be a very good financial book, right? One of the things it says is treat others the way you want to be treated. Love your neighbor as yourself, not less than,
Mm-hmm.
not more than. Love your neighbor as yourself. So when you're trying to give advice financially, you should be thinking about how it benefits you
Right.
Yeah.
while it benefits them.
Mm-hmm.
If we can find a win-win in every negotiation, we found heaven on earth.
Yep.
The Lord's Prayer, that your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So we're not here to like just die and go to heaven. We're here to actually, he sent us here for a reason. He put within us purpose, gifts, talents, and abilities. And when we tap into them, our lives make a lot more sense than just being lost all the time. And next thing you know, you're in depression or you're in alcoholism or whatever it is. Right? People are going after something to fill that void when it's so easy. It's already
Yep.
it's right there offered to them. And it's not to be coming through a religious lens, but a relational one. I think God offers relationship with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. It's so difficult, when you have those people that you want to give them advice, and like you said, you just have to tell them to go away because they're not listening. They're just sucking out.
Right.
But to touch on something that you said is making sure that it benefits them and benefits us at the same time. And sometimes that's what you don't have with some people, right? Some people they just want to get a deal done or they want to get a loan done, right? But the great thing about us, right, is that, and this is exactly what I tell my clients. I treat you exactly how I would treat my own grandmother.
Right.
If I would now, if I'm telling my grandmother, hey, this is a bad deal, I can't force you not to do it,
Right.
right? But if you tell me that you want to do it anyway, I'm not going to stop you, right? Because you have to make your own decisions, right?
Right.
But I would tell you like, hey, this is pretty good or this is bad, right? If I wholeheartedly thought that people should not be buying homes right now, I wouldn't be doing this.
Right.
Right.
But I do, because 1,000% you should have a home for yourself, because that place one day will be paid off, and it could be the source of where your family goes to, or maybe the source of how you maybe pay for retirement, right?
Sure.
Maybe that's the house that you pay off to buy a smaller house and then be able to retire, right? And a lot of people sometimes think that like, to get rich and then not do anything, there's no way. There's no one that gets rich and does nothing.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen. There's a calling. We have something to do. There's something that like a lot of people will go, yeah, I retired, and then for a couple of months, and then I realized I was bored, and then I went back to work, and I realized I loved it.
Find a new passion.
And they just realized that like maybe they were just doing it too much, right?
I mean, even beyond what you're saying there too, with building wealth and owning a home and everything along those lines. I mean, yet oxygen, water, food, Number 4, structure. You got to have a roof over your head for your family. If you're renting, you can't always bet on that. I mean, I've known people that have lived in houses for years and years and years, and then one day the landlord says, hey, I'm selling it.
Yep.
Uproot your entire life, move things around.
That's their home.
Absolutely. And they built memories and everything in that. And then they really quickly realized by a baptism of fire almost that I need more structure. I need more security with
Stability.
the home,
Yeah.
the roof over my head. Absolutely. And going back on what you were saying as well as, yes, some people are takers, and some people are givers. I like to think of a little more giver than a taker, but you do have to kind of find that balance. Because like you said, if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not happy in your own life and secure in your own life, how are you going to help others become that?
Naturally, I would say, again, faith belief system. Naturally, I believe that we are all takers if we aren't watching out for it. Like, there's a verse in Jeremiah 17:9 says, "The heart is deceitful, and above all else, desperately wicked. Who can know it?" Talking about the human heart. Leave me to my own devices long enough. I want to be my own God, and I want to take care of just myself. It's just sort of like how it is if we don't nurture the spiritual side of our life, where God comes in and he uses us, right? Jesus Christ, he said, if you abide in me, I'll abide in you, and you'll bear much fruit. But apart from me, you can do nothing. It's interesting. We have to have the discipline to abide in the Creator, right? To spend time with the Creator, to remember that in our own devices, we're not good. We're not good enough.
Yeah.
Right? We're not selfless enough. Like, we can say we are all we want, but like the heart of man is selfish.
Yep.
It wants to be its own God.
Sure.
When we give up on ourselves and allow God to be God, life can take off. That's just an experience. My own experience. I'm not putting that on everybody. I find it to be true though when I look at humanity.
Sure. Yeah, and you need to have structures and morals. It's like I said earlier, life doesn't necessarily come with an instruction manual, but you got to kind of figure that out on your own walk of life yourself.
Yeah, and switching gears a little bit, we're talking about all this, spiritualness, because it does play a part in your investing. Like, you can't be greatly successful in one part of your life and not the others. Because if you are failing at home, if you're failing in your business, if you're failing in any part of your life, if you're failing with your relationship spiritually, right, you can't expect to be this great investor or this great husband, because you're failing at some part, and you're failing because you're not doing it correctly.
If I could be transparent for a moment and vulnerable, I would say that I put my business over my kids a lot of times. It's out of balance. It's not right. It's just it's the pull. It's the pull to be recognized, to be known, to be appreciated. When your kids aren't going to always do that, right?
Right.
And I'm pulled. My flesh is pulled away from spiritual health. It's just the way it is. If I don't say no, I recognize that's there, and I need to make a decision to have the discipline to prioritize. I don't do great at it. Like, I'm not here to preach, right?
Right.
I'm here to say, join me in this venture. Try to put priority where it belongs, because when we do it the right way, we get so much more, out of life.
And really, you can just ask them, like, honey or kids, like, what do you want, from dad? Like, oh, well, dad, I want you to come to my baseball games, or, I want to go on a date night once a month. Great, right? Like, whatever it is, like, sometimes you can just ask them and just know your partner, or know your kids, know your family. And same thing goes with the business, right? Your clients will tell you exactly what they want. And it all goes around in a circle. And as long as you pay attention, and yes, we will get pulled in one direction, whether that's more to family life if something happened to you, right? Hey, grandpa died, gotta go tend to the family. Or, hey, I've got all these clients right now. We've got 5 closings and this and that. It's like, okay, I gotta attend to that, right? But remembering to always, every chance you get, to try to bring it back to the balance, because you want to be balanced. Because if you outweigh another part will diminish, and if you diminish long enough, that's when it becomes the biggest problem.
100%.
And I think that's a good point too, is like asking people what they want. You touched on it earlier, and you said it right there as well. And I think every conversation I have with a client, I always start off with, how can I help? And then they kind of, you get that almost vomit of words coming out of them there, and you got to pick out the pieces and everything like that. And I think I'm going to start following up with that. And what is your end goal too? Because I'm always asking how I can help and explaining everything and where they're at and what they're doing. And like I said, people just start talking most of the time, but I probably should just tune in a little more with, hey, what's your end goal here?
Right.
And I would say be careful to try to do too much to be the hero, because maybe you aren't the best person for the job, and it is fully okay to be like, I'm not the best person for that job, but here's a guy I trust.
Yeah.
Add to your team. Add to your.
Yep.
It's like it empowers you because you look more trustworthy. And you didn't try to take on something that you're not great at, and you dish it off to someone who actually is. And now he or she, the client, has a team of people that she can trust. It's a beautiful thing. It's heaven on earth again.
Yeah. And that's very important too. I'm glad you touched on that, because that's one thing I pride myself in as well with business and life in general is not giving bad information. If you don't have the answer to it, don't say what you think might be right. People will appreciate it much more if you just say, hey, you know what? Not 100% sure on that answer, but I'll get that for you as soon as possible.
Right.
Yep. And then, diving a little bit deeper into real estate, I mean, someone who's brand new, Micah, what would you tell them?
Well, what part of real estate? Because there's
They want to invest. Let's say they want to invest. Yep.
All right, great question. You can come into real estate with very little money if you want to just lend it. Be careful how you do that, right? Find people that you trust, of course. Make sure you get legal eyes on it to make sure you're protected right. There's a lot of people who come in, they're so aggressive to start, and they trust. The heart of man is deceitful, and above all else, desperately wicked. Who can know it, right? So we have to just trust people, but confirm and make sure that we're protecting ourselves first. Get legal eyes on what we're doing. But you can when I first came into real estate, I was hungry to get involved in investing. Like I told a guy who's doing a fix and flip, I said, I got 20 grand. I want to give it to you. I want to make. He's like, I'll give you 24,000 back when I'm done selling the house. I was like, that's a good return. That's like 80% annual return.
Yeah.
Right. It was nothing to him because he didn't get the deal without me.
Yep.
So there's so much to go around, right? So I made $4 grand, and I had fun landing it. I trusted him. I verified. We drew up a legal document, and he made it really well. He might have made 35,000 on the 6-month project. I made 4. He did all the work. He wouldn't have done it without me.
Yep.
I wouldn't have done it without him.
Yep.
Right.
So it's beautiful that you can come in partnerships with people. Just be careful how you do it. You can lend. You can also put, for a fix and flip, I say you should have at least 45 to 50 cash available. 30 to get in the door, 15 to get the job started, so that you have your lender, he'll reimburse you as you move through the project. So people are like, I don't have that much. All right, well, you should do fix and flip.
Right.
Don't try. Now, if you want to partner with a fix and flip guy that you trust, just structure that money the right way. Make sure you're going to have a handsome return. But not only that, please learn. Because I had a lady, I was trying to help her. She's like, I got 80 grand. I want to do a fix and flip. I'm trying my butt off to help her find a house. And what I realized was, you aren't ready.
Yeah.
You got 80 grand, but you aren't ready. And you are going to lose. She went out and did one, lost 30,000. Came back around. I said, just let me have your money. I put it into my fix and flip. And she made, I forget what percentage she made, but she made some money. I actually lost in that job. I hate to admit that, but it happened once. Every now and then you lose.
Yep.
It's part of it.
Can't all be winners.
And I lost. She did.
Yeah.
She made it. But here's what frustrated me the most. The teacher heart that I have. The frustration was, I invited her to all the job meetings. I invited her to all the check-ins. I invited her to the contractor meetings, the plumber, electrician. Never showed up.
Try to show her the ropes, you can lead them to water.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Help me feel alive by helping you learn.
Yep.
All she wanted was to make money. You shouldn't be in this business.
Yeah.
Other than lending, but don't get mad when everyone else is making 50 and you're making 5.
Right.
Yep.
Get active,
Yeah.
So it's all about what you sow into your life that you'll get back, right? She had an opportunity to learn a ton of stuff, wasn't interested enough. So there's a reason why she lost 30 doing it with outside of us,
Yep.
and only 5 when she was with us.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
No,
You
absolutely.
get out of it what you put into it is the point.
So,
So-
kind of in closing, what you're saying is, hey, if you're trying to get into real estate investment and you don't quite have that capital, partner up with
Or
somebody.
knowledge.
Or knowledge. Partner up somebody. And we talk about
100%.
that almost every single podcast we have is, where'd you come from? Where'd you go? And a common theme amongst that is a good mentor.
Yep.
100%.
And find somebody that knows the business. Find somebody that knows what they're doing. If you don't have the capital, try different tricks, like you said, to get the capital. Learn the ropes before you're ready to go out on your own.
And we are going really profound real quick, but like if you have retirement money that's sitting there not doing anything, you can roll it into an IRA where you can actually self-manage and lend it against property. So you get yourself into deals and make good money as with your retirement money. No one thinks they can do that.
Yep.
There's a definite way to do that. I'll take people's money because they just want to learn. I'll take their money when I don't need it. If they're going to promise to learn, because I'm going to cut my profitability a little bit
Right.
to help. I get paid emotionally to help them feel like I'm helping them learn.
Sure.
So if they're coming in and I'm paying them a return on their investment to help them learn the business so they can do it without me. Eventually that comes full circle because they'll end up being a real estate investor. I'll be their agent.
Yeah.
I can connect them to different professionals like you guys. So it depends on where they are in the process of learning. My job is to connect. I would just say also when you're coming into real estate, whether it's an agent or whatever, try to add value to everyone you're talking to. Like, what can I bring to this game? Don't be a taker. What can be equal to yourself? Be fair to yourself, but don't be just a taker. See what value you can add to them. That always comes back around and it does pays benefits. If you're just being an agent, go out and help people, show them homes. Just work for free because it will come back around. You can't work for free, don't, right?
Right.
But I'm saying if you have the luxury to take some risk and show some homes to people that are on the fence, to build that rapport with them. Number one, love doing it. I don't know why I like showing homes. I just still do.
I love houses.
I don't know what it
Yeah.
is. I'll take some of the weakest buyers. Financially, it's not the smartest thing, but man, I live once. I want to love what I do. And
Sure.
eventually, somehow, some way, eventually I get paid. Even if it's not financially, I get emotional. There's emotional payment.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because you're
so-
in it for the right thing. It's going to pay dividends.
And that would be my last thing. I'd probably say, don't get into real estate just for the money. There's good money in here if you know how to do it right. Don't come for the money
Yep.
because it can also fizzle you out. You might
Sure.
hate life.
Yep.
Love real estate.
And it's amazing because that great feeling of helping someone else out, it feels better than making 5, 10, 20, 100. Like you could name whatever number you want, but like that feeling like that you saw them, and it's the same thing as like that we were talking about before with the kids, right? It's like, wow, I helped that person, and now I see the fruit of the labor, right?
Right.
It's not my fruit, but I'm watching them because they watered their tree, they took care of their tree, and now their tree has blossomed. And it's like, you taught that person how to fish, and now they're going to be able to feed their family for life.
Yeah. And that's a good point, too. I mean, how many times do you go to a settlement and you hear from a listing agent or, a title company you don't work with often, oh, a lender that comes to settlement?
Yeah.
Now, I won't lie, during COVID and things like that, I stopped going to less settlements, but I try to go to a lot of settlements of mine because that is the fruits of your labor.
Yep.
It's not only for the client and to answer any questions that they may have with, the lending side of things in settlement, a lot of documentation is going on, a lot of questions that could be had. But at the same time, it's almost a little selfish. It's that payoff at the end of things, just to watch it all come together at the end.
I'm an agent, so I wear an agent hat sometimes. It's probably 1 or 2 on the priority list of my income, my business. It's a big part of it. And when I see lenders there, it does make a difference.
Sure.
You are taking time out that you don't need to take it. You're not making money by being there. You already made your money. You're showing up to shake hands.
Yep.
It's very smart. It's very wise to do that. Agents do notice, and we appreciate it.
And because the thing is, like I always tell people, it's about the relationship.
Yes.
It's all it's about.
Always.
This business is our relationship. If you don't have a good plumber, if you don't have a good HVAC, like you're not going to be able to do a good flip. You're not going to be able to have a good rental.
100%.
Like you won't. So it's the same thing in every single industry. It's all about the relationship that you have, right? And it's like, well, if I can go, yeah, it's going to take an hour, maybe 2. Like we have deals up in PA. Like, yeah, it takes me, 45 minutes to go there, then the hour for the settlement. Maybe we went out to lunch, and then I now got to come back. That's half my day,
Yes.
Yeah.
right? But that relationship is worth it. It's not every day, right?
No.
But it's worth it because now they see that I actually do care.
Right.
Because a lot of people will say it, but they won't actually mean it. I care. Okay, but did you care when, like I had a client, right? And the client goes, Vialdi, I can't buy this house. And I was like, why not? And this was back when I was a real estate agent. And they go, well, we literally just found out yesterday that our kid got diagnosed with cancer.
Jeez.
And I said, man, they're already doing a VA loan, so it was no down payment. But I said, how can I get these people into a home? Because this house had no problems, brand new roof, everything was new for it, right? So I said, how can I get them into a home? And the money that they were going to use for the down payment for the closing costs, they can
Keep it in their pocket.
keep that money because they're going to need it. They don't know how much everything is going to cost. They're going to need reserves, right? And man, I never felt more fulfilled in my life
Yeah.
to watch them go to settlement and get money back and just have tears in their eyes. It chokes me up a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was just so amazing because it's like you help someone and, is there a paycheck at the end of it? There is, but, because we have to help ourselves as well. But it's so great because you're able to do something for them that some other agent, somebody else out there would have just been like, oh, okay, all right,
Not personable. Yeah.
yeah. Like,
Absolutely.
how can I make this work? Like, do I have to give up some of my commission? Maybe we work it out with the listing agent. Like, how can we all get together and make this dream happen for them? And that's what, like, I always tell people, like, I'm here to make this dream work. And sometimes I tell people, look, if it's not with me, it might not be with me, right? Like,
Right.
I do I-10 loans, right? And hey, there might be somebody out there who's doing it better. And if they came across that person, 1,000%. If everything's sounds legit, everything is good, go with them. If they're giving you a better rate, which for the most part, I feel like I'm giving people really good rates on it. But it's like if they're better, yes, go with them. And I mean, I've come back to clients and I go, hey, heard you bought a home. I'm so happy for you. Like, just to call them and say congratulations, even though they didn't buy with
Absolutely.
me. Like, I'm happy they bought a home. I couldn't help them,
awesome, man.
but we can't help everybody we come across.
Yeah.
Not enough
And
time.
I'd love to keep chatting, but I think our time here is
Yep.
almost up.
Yep.
So,
So beautiful,
really
though. So
great
fun, man.
conversations. We appreciate you coming on
my
today,
pleasure.
Micah. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Love
Let's do it
hearing what
again
you
sometime
say.
soon.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love to have you
you.
back.
Definitely. Thanks for coming, Micah, and
Thank
there
you
it is,
guys.
guys.
Till next time.
see ya.